Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Live It Up, the show where we explore and discuss how to take your life to that next level and beyond. We cover health, wealth, relationships, and how to create a life you absolutely love. I'm your host and coach, Fletcher Ellingson. Amy will be with us after the commercial break. We have something different for you on the show today. I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you. But before we get to that, I do want to remind you that if you have questions that you would like us to answer on or off the air, you can email them directly to me at fletcher@fletcherellingson.com. Now let's get to today's email. It says, "Dear Fletcher, how can you or other people possibly talk about this unattainable and ridiculous positive thinking crap? How is it that you seem to be blind with all that is wrong with our world? You've got to be blind to not to see it. Our country has an ever-growing homeless population. We're in the midst of an opioid epidemic. Millions have diabetes and cancer, and our government is falling apart. And need I mention the environment? Humans are literally killing off species and poisoning our water, our soil, our food, putting the lives of future generations in question. You talk about being positive and creating a life you love. Are you not seeing what's happening? Are you not willing to do anything about it? It's easy to say lovely things and quite another to get involved. We need people to do something about the state of our world, not just pontificate on how wonderful the world is, when in fact, it's falling apart. Hey, I'm just keeping it real. Signed, TC. TC, thanks for reaching out. I hear that you have a lot of concerns. You're concerned about so much of what is not working in our world. You see an ever-growing homeless population. You hear more and more about the opioid epidemic. You're aware of more and more people developing chronic diseases, and you also feel concerned about our government and the environment. And I also get that you think people should be doing something about this, not just talking about it. This is really important to you, and you think people should be doing something about it. Well, TC, I want you to know that I hear your concern. I too, many times, have felt the way you do. It feels like there is so much bad news. It feels like there's so much not working, so much broken and sick that we could never find our way back to a way of living that feels stable and secure and that works for the masses. It can leave you feeling hopeless. It can leave you feeling lost. It can lead to cynicism, mistrust. It can lead to depression and darkness. It can lead to seeing the worst in others. But it can also motivate people into action. You may feel compelled to write or call your Congress representative, right? Maybe you get involved or start a movement and help canvass, or maybe you help it financially, or maybe you go and march or stand on a street corner and demonstrate. Maybe you work to discover a cure or work to invent something that moves people forward, that brings people together. TC, I ask you, which camp do you fall into? Have you become so focused on what isn't working that it sucked a lot of the joy and life energy right out of you? Has your hope and optimism been replaced by a dark cynicism? Is the only filter you can see life through now dark and depressing? The thing I need you to understand is this. I really want you to hear this. Whatever you focus on, you feel. Whatever you focus on, you feel. Whatever you focus on, you experience. And whatever you focus on, you ultimately manifest. Now look, I agree with you on something. There's a lot that doesn't work in our world. A lot. But if all we do is focus on it and do nothing about it and blame others, well, we're going to feel pretty crappy. Or I can look at it and see it as an opportunity to make a difference. That's different, right? We can look at it and see an opportunity to bridge a gap, to connect with someone, to make a small difference, knowing that every action has an opposite and equal reaction. So I can know that me making a difference is going to have a ripple effect. By doing just one positive thing, by speaking one compliment or encouraging sentence, you can make a difference. And by making a donation of time or talent or money, you can make a difference. If you want to see the good in the world, you want to see it work better, then you have to be that good. You have to be what works well. The question is, are you willing to do that? I hope you are, because we need you. We need people that are willing to make a difference. Now, you may have fooled yourself into thinking that you don't have anything to offer. And that would be really unfortunate. You see, anything that will make a difference, anything that makes a difference has value. And if you've been thinking that you don't have anything to offer, well, that's just a lie. You've been telling yourself, okay? We can all make a difference. I know a guy who loves wrestling, and he volunteers at the high school. He shows up for every practice and is there with the team to help them be their best. I know a woman who gets up early several times a day and walks a couple miles along the highway picking up garbage. Multiple days a week, she's out there with a garbage bag, cheerfully picking up garbage and waving to people on the way to work or away to school. I look forward to seeing her because she's a beacon of hope. She reminds me that there are so many ways to contribute and make a difference. I know people who donate their time at animal shelters, homeless shelters. They don't get paid. They're doing it because they know it makes a difference. It's what helps our world work. Heck, I know a guy that for years has shown up every Friday on a street corner holding a sign that says Vigil for Peace. He's there when it's cold, when it's raining, when it's hot, when it's snowing. He shows up. Some people think he's crazy, but he shows up because he believes it makes our world better, makes it work. And you know what? He's right. Because when I see him, I'm reminded that there are people that do get involved. So which camp are you in, TC? Remember what I said, what you focus on, you feel. What you focus on, you experience. What you focus on, you manifest. So what are you willing to do? Who are you willing to be in the face of what you see? Today, I'm not interviewing anyone, but I'm going to be sharing some stories and videos of people who have noticed what's not working in our world, and instead of choosing to complain and blame, they chose to get inspired about getting involved and making a difference. They decided the best way to get our world to work better is to be part of the solution, okay? This first company I'm going to introduce you to is one of the most exciting companies I've ever seen, and I really mean that. I get totally jazzed every time I watch this video. It's one of the most exciting companies I have ever seen. I thought the invention of the smartphone was off the charts, but this company and their product may be even more significant. So, I want to introduce you to Watergen. They are already impacting communities in our world. I have no doubt you're going to hear and see much more about them in the near future. Stay with us and watch them produce enormous amounts of drinking water right out of the air. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back to explore this company. Stay with us. Back with Live It Up, and we got Amy with us today. Hello.
Hello, I got dragged on the show.
Yeah, she got dragged on the show, and she just said, don't get too excited about this company because you're going to look weird. I get so excited about this company called Watergen. I just found out about it a couple months ago. I can't wait to share it with you. As she says, we've been talking a lot about it in our house, and I just found out something even super cool today about them that I hadn't known, so I'll share that with you after we watch the video. But Watergen, like I said, has the ability to take water out of the air, out of the environment.
Out of the air.
And make it drinkable like at the touch of a button. But their purpose is to help solve the water crisis and drinking water crisis in our world. That's their purpose. That's what they are up to. That's the game that they are playing. So let's not talk anymore about it. Let's see the video. Here we go.
Fresh water. It seems like it's everywhere. But it's not. And there just isn't enough to drink. By 2025, 2/3 of the world will face drinking water shortages. But there is an answer. Just look around you. It's everywhere. We are all surrounded by water. The atmosphere is the world's single source of pure water. Thanks to Watergen, a company with revolutionary technology, pure drinking water can be available for everyone, everywhere, saving millions and improving billions of lives. Watergen extracts fresh, pure water directly from the air, from a portable source that never runs dry. A single Watergen unit can produce enough clean, pure, safe water for a household, office, school, or hospital. Multiple units are good for villages or towns. Larger systems can serve cities and even nations. 10,000 devices could provide enough drinking water for 25 million people without massive infrastructure projects, pipes, or urban water systems, all at an extremely low cost. Just plug it in and drink. Thanks to our strategic partnership with a leading global manufacturer, WaterGen is commercially available all around the world in any quantity needed. No one should ever be thirsty when we're surrounded by so much pure water. WaterGen, bringing water to the world.
And we're back. Pretty cool, huh?
Very cool.
Do you think so, really?
I really do. I think it's very cool. It seems like an obvious source that hasn't been tapped.
Yeah.
And it's very cool.
Yeah, it's like they're saying it's the largest source of fresh water all
Right.
around us.
Right.
One of the people I was talking to, and I was sharing this with them, they're like, yeah, just imagine like in 30, 40 years, they'll be looking through the history books and they'll be like, what? You guys used to get your water from the ground?
Right.
How weird.
Uh-huh.
Right? I mean, I look at this and I am so hopeful. So to address TC from earlier on, I mean, this is what you could be up to. This is the game that some people decide to play. Like, we're going to take on the world's drinking water crisis. And these guys have put together technology and are making a huge difference. And so the thing that I showed you this morning,
Yeah.
this seems a little superfluous or frivolous, but it just goes to show you like what can be done. So Ford company, who makes these big old trucks, has now put in some of their models a water on demand spigot in the console of their Fords.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I mean, it seems like we don't really need it, but it just shows you like what one of the many applications.
Well, I think the thing is, if you had that in your car, though, and maybe it prevented you from buying a water bottle at the gas station, then it would, completely reduce or really reduce plastic water bottles.
Yeah, and I'm excited about so many parts of the world that are suffering from a lack of clean water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where people, I mean, you've been to some of these places where they have to walk for miles and miles to get water every day, in a jug, then heat it up. This takes out all the toxins.
Yeah.
And it can be run on solar power. I mean, there's just so many, it's so adaptable, right?
Yeah, and I told you, I don't know if I told you, but I met with someone in Rotary, and they're going to look at maybe an application for it in Kenya.
Yeah,
where
that
they
is
do some
so
work,
cool.
so it'd be really cool.
And their moderate size unit can produce something like 240 gallons a day. So you can see pretty easily like a short, just a small number of these can produce a huge amount of water for a village.
Very cool.
So anyway, very exciting. But we're not done. We're going to go show you some other cool companies who are doing amazing work in our world, who are not caught up in what's not working and getting bummed out about it. They see a need, and then they go and do something about it.
It's true.
All right, stay with us. We're going to take another commercial break. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about some really cool stuff, don't you think?
Yes, very cool.
This next one, again, I'm very excited about, is a company called Ocean Cleanup. Did you know that there are about 1.8 trillion pieces of plastic that are floating in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch?
That's a mind-boggling number.
Yeah, do you know how big the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is?
No.
It's twice the size of the state of Texas.
Whoa.
Yes. Just floating out there. Just nothing, nobody's doing anything about it. It's just floating, it's in these currents, and they're just constantly cycling through and getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Gross.
Yeah, it is gross. But there's a 24-year-old guy from the Netherlands, and his name is Boyan Slat, and he decided, that is disgusting, gross, and very sad, and he decided, I'm going to do something about it. And so Ocean Cleanup came up with a process, theoretically, and put it into action. We're going to take a look at it, the theoretical video first, so you get an idea of what they're actually doing. So here we go with the video.
Okay, let's see.
1.8 trillion pieces of plastic float at the surface of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Here, the Ocean Cleanup is deploying the world's first technological solution to this growing problem. The principle behind it is simple. Create a coastline where there are none. Concentrate the plastic and take it out. The system consists of a 600-meter-long floater and a 3-meter deep skirt attached below. The floater provides buoyancy to the system and prevents plastic from flowing over it, while the skirt prevents smaller particles from escaping underneath. As the impenetrable skirt creates a downward flow, marine life can safely pass beneath it. Here is how the system catches plastic. The system takes advantage of 3 natural oceanic forces: winds, waves, and currents. Both the plastic and system are being carried by the current. However, wind and waves propel the system only, as the floater partly sticks above the surface, while plastic is primarily just beneath it. The system thus moves faster than the plastic, allowing the plastic to be captured. The skirt extends deeper in the middle of the system than on the outer edges. As the current applies pressure on the skirt, the system naturally adopts a U-shape, which enables it to concentrate plastic in its center, like a funnel. The drag generated by the skirt also acts as a stabilizing force, allowing the system to reorient itself when the wind changes direction. And because the system, like the plastic, is free-floating, it automatically drifts to the areas with the highest plastic concentration. Fitted with solar-powered lights, anti-collision systems, cameras, sensors, and satellite antennas, the system actively communicates its position at all times and continuously gathers performance data. Periodically, a support vessel comes by to take out the concentrated plastic, like a garbage truck of the ocean. The plastic is then transported to land, recycled, and made into durable products. This is the first of a fleet of 60 systems. Once deployed, the fleet is expected to clean up 50% of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch every 5 years.
Again, pretty darn cool.
Yeah, very cool. It's still, that's amazing that it would do 50% in 5 years.
Yeah, that's how much plastic is out
Yeah,
there,
it's a
right?
lot.
I mean, 1.8 trillion pieces, and it's just floating. So, I'm glad you brought that up. But yeah, able to clean up 50% of the garbage patch every 5 years, and hopefully that's going to be diminishing as our world becomes more responsible too. And I love also that they're going to be recycling what they're harvesting, right?
Right.
I mean, as much of it as they can.
Yeah.
So very cool. So that was theoretically, that was the theory, right? And they did that presentation, and they secured funding. They did TED Talks. They did all this funding and PR. And then, by the way, that U-shaped barrier that you saw, it's a mile long.
Oh, I was wondering that too.
Yeah, it's a mile long, and they're going to have 60 of them ultimately. So they've taken it from theoretic into the physical world, which is what we're going to take a look at right now.
Cool.
The team involved in Wilson's operations is really eager to get this system optimized and working to its full potential as soon as possible.
So now that Wilson is out in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch together with a monitoring vessel, we have quite a range of tools out there to get more information and to get a better understanding of how it's behaving out there. So we can use GPS drifters that we can deploy there. We have drones that we can use to get footage from the air and to see what waves are doing around the system, how plastics are behaving, what the shape of the system is evolving like over time. So all those observations and data collection systems can give us really valuable data. Largely it behaves as we want it to behave. Plastics are entering the system, but what we also see is that at some occasions plastics also leave the system again. We are now with the whole engineering team trying to find out why that happens and when it happens, because it's an occasional thing.
You're all here because you like solving problems, so let's solve some problems.
So the way forward is that we have one part of being focusing on what is happening, and the other thing is focus on solutions.
As we are doing this as a world first, we were sort of expecting the unexpected, if you can say that.
There is some things to tweak on the system and to change or to update, and that's all part of the process. We have deployed something completely new out in the ocean. One of the solutions that we are now working on is trying to increase the span by changing the closing line configuration of the system. And in that way we change the force balance a little bit, and that makes that the wind has a relatively bigger impact on the system, and as such makes the system move faster through the water.
We've never been closer to success than we are today. We have a system in the ocean, and I'm confident that, considering all the problems we already overcame, we will also overcome these.
Again, incredible and inspiring, huh?
Yeah, I think what's really cool is I think so much of our world today, we're so action oriented and results oriented, and we've become pretty impatient, I feel like, with the fast pace of our world. But really anything that really is anything besides just simple takes a while to figure out and to troubleshoot, and it's a good reality check. You can't just make it so and have it work.
Right, and I love what this company's done. There's been a common belief system in our world that says, yeah, there's a huge garbage patch floating around our world, and there's nothing we can do about it. Well, might as well just add more to it because there's nothing you can do about it. That was like a commonly held belief or feeling, right? But this guy came along and was just like, you know what? No, that's not acceptable. Let's change up the belief system. And a quick update on this ocean cleanup. The Wilson they're referring to, that's the name of the garbage collection system. They took it out, and it was out for I think 112 days, and then it broke. Like one of the pieces, big pieces, broke, and so they had to tow the entire thing to Hawaii, and it's being repaired, and they're going to relaunch hopefully this summer. So anyways, a short little update there.
But I think your point is people and organizations looking to create solutions and to contribute rather than be afraid and be kind of paralyzed by that.
Yes, exactly. So we are going to go on to the next video that we have of another company who's doing something extraordinary. So let's take a look at this. This is really going to have application to to North Central Washington at some point in the future, because it's all about fruit and vegetables and making them elongating their shelf life. So check this out.
What if the fruit you bought was delicious and nutritious, like the day it was picked, and stayed fresher longer? What if it was as simple as giving produce a little extra protection for its journey to you? Introducing fruits and vegetables with Apeel. Made from plants, Apeel protects the fruits and veggies you love with a little extra peel, so you can taste, blend, juice, and dice them just the way you like them. In the old days, more people worked on farms and ate what they grew, but you could never get a mango out of season. Today, there's more produce available, anytime, any place. Everyone knows what it's like to throw away produce that's past its prime. We waste nearly half of all the food we grow, food people need. Now, we have Apeel, invented by these people. Apeel starts with something all plants have, an outer layer that keeps moisture in, while allowing the plant to breathe, the cuticle layer. Plants' evolutionary defense against drying out or rotting. It's in every bite of fruit we eat and every bit of it that we toss. Using these same materials, we reinforce the plant's natural defenses. From fruit, for fruit. The result is a tasteless layer of plant material we designed to protect produce, pre-approved by nature, ready for you. It can be applied to this, or this, or this, giving you more time to enjoy fruits and vegetables at their freshest. That means we use less water, save more energy, and greatly reduce our food waste, all with less reliance on the carbon-intensive cold chain. Apeel, truly abundant, more delicious, longer-lasting, fresh food.
Okay, so pretty neat, right?
Yeah, I don't quite get it though.
Yeah, so basically so every plant and vegetable has certain things in it.
I get that.
And they're able to extract those and create and then just put it back on in a more heavily concentrated manner.
Like after the fruit is grown and they just put it on it?
Yeah, so you can dip it or you can spray it on. Oh. And what's really cool about this is it can be used for organic as well, because it is a natural product, 100% natural. They don't add anything to it. And in some of the developing countries where 80% of the food is lost because of lack of refrigeration, this makes a huge difference. And
cool.
Yeah, and you and I hate throwing out
I
fruit.
know, yeah.
So this
bummer.
would be a big boom to our economy and what it means for our vegetables. All right, so just to recap, you've got something to offer this world. Get out there. Stop focusing on just what's not working. Look for the opportunity. You can make a difference. It's time to get out there, be a source of kindness, contribution. Get in action. We believe in you.